Welcome to Top Problem-Solving Quotes for Creative Solutions. In life, we all face challenges, but it's how we approach them that truly defines us. Join us as we explore a collection of profound quotes designed to ignite your creative problem-solving mindset and transform obstacles into opportunities. Get ready to rethink, refocus, and find your breakthrough.
1. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. This quote reminds us that you should actively contribute to resolving difficulties rather than merely complaining about them or exacerbating them. Take initiative to be constructive. 2. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Here's what that really means. Focus on finding universal truths and solutions rather than partisan political answers or assigning blame for past events. It advocates for taking collective responsibility for future progress. 3. When I'm working on a problem, I never think about beauty. I think only how to solve the problem. This quote reminds us that the primary focus in problem solving should be pragmatic effectiveness. Aesthetics are secondary to finding a functional resolution. 4. A problem is a chance for you to do your best. Here's what that really means. Challenges are opportunities to demonstrate your full capabilities and excel. Difficulties can bring out your highest performance. 5. We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. This quote reminds us that many seemingly insurmountable challenges are actually hidden opportunities for growth and breakthrough. Perspective can transform obstacles into possibilities. 6. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. Here's what that really means. Just as physical activity strengthens the body, engaging with written material hones and develops the intellect. Reading is crucial for mental fitness. 7. When you come to a roadblock, take a detour. This quote reminds us that when faced with an insurmountable obstacle, don't give up. Instead, find an alternative path or approach to continue towards your goal. Adaptability is key. 8. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. Here's what that really means. True scientific progress stems from innovative thinking, the ability to reframe existing issues, and the courage to explore novel avenues of inquiry. Imagination drives discovery. 9. I've been amazed at how often those outside the discipline of design assume that what designers do is decoration. Good design is problem solving. This quote reminds us that design is fundamentally about finding effective solutions to functional challenges, not merely about aesthetic embellishment. Its true value lies in practical problem solving. 10. Stop looking for solutions to problems and start looking for the right path. Here's what that really means. Instead of just fixing individual issues, seek a deeper, overarching direction or strategy that prevents problems and leads to sustained progress. Focus on the journey, not just the repair. 11. The problem is not that there are problems. The problem is expecting otherwise and thinking that having problems is a problem. This quote reminds us that difficulties are an inherent part of life. The real issue arises from unrealistic expectations of a problem-free existence and viewing challenges as abnormal. 12. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Here's what that really means. Intelligence can find answers, but true wisdom lies in foresight and preventing issues from arising. Proactive wisdom is superior to reactive cleverness. 13. There is no use talking about the problem unless you talk about the solution. This quote reminds us that discussion about issues is unproductive unless it also includes proposing concrete ways to resolve them. Focus on constructive remedies. 14. There is a great difference between worry and concern. A worried person sees a problem, and a concerned person solves a problem. Here's what that really means. Worry is a passive state of anxiety, while genuine concern actively motivates one to seek and implement solutions to challenges. Worry paralyzes, concern acts. 15. The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem. It has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. This quote reminds us that powerful technological advancements don't necessarily introduce novel issues, but they intensify the urgency of addressing pre-existing human challenges, such as conflict or control. 16. Solving big problems is easier than solving little problems. Here's what that really means. Often, large-scale challenges can be simpler to address than minor ones, perhaps due to greater resources, clearer focus, or more significant motivation they command. 17. Some problems are so complex that you have to be highly intelligent and well-informed just to be undecided about them. This quote reminds us that certain issues are so intricate that even highly knowledgeable individuals struggle to form a definitive opinion, highlighting their profound complexity. 18. Be a light, not a judge. Be a model, not a critic. Here's what that really means. Strive to inspire and guide others through positive example and constructive actions. Be a source of guidance, not condemnation. 19. A great discovery solves a great problem, but there is a grain of discovery in any problem. This quote reminds us that while major breakthroughs resolve significant issues, even small acts of problem-solving contain an element of genuine discovery and creative insight. 20. Let us not despair, but act. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Here's what that really means. Instead of succumbing to hopelessness or partisan bickering, we should focus on decisive action, seeking universally correct solutions, and taking collective responsibility for shaping a better future. 21. A designer knows he has achieved perfection not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. This quote reminds us that true design excellence is reached through simplification and refinement, where every unnecessary element has been removed, leaving only what is essential and effective. 22. The direct use of force is such a poor solution to any problem. It is generally employed only by small children and large nations. Here's what that really means. Using direct force to resolve issues is often an unsophisticated and ineffective approach, typically resorted to by those lacking maturity or diplomatic skill. 23. I don't want problems solved for me. I want the fishing rod, not the fish. This quote reminds us that it's more valuable to be equipped with the skills and tools to solve challenges independently than to merely receive ready-made solutions. Empower others, don't just provide answers. 24. The whole difference between construction and creation is exactly this, that a thing constructed can only be loved after it is constructed, but a thing created is loved before it exists. Here's what that really means. Construction is a mechanical process where appreciation comes post-completion, while true creation is born from a deep passion and vision that exists even before the thing is made. 25. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. This quote reminds us that to effectively resolve complex issues, especially those stemming from our own thinking, a shift in perspective, understanding, or mindset is required. You need a higher level of thought. 26. There is always an easy solution to every problem, neat, plausible, and wrong. Here's what that really means. Beware of seemingly simple answers to complex issues, as they are often deceptive and ultimately incorrect. True solutions are rarely superficial. 27. Don't find fault, find a remedy. This quote reminds us that Instead of dwelling on blame or identifying flaws, focus your energy on discovering and implementing effective solutions to problems. Be proactive, not just critical. 28. Problems are only opportunities in workflows. Here's what that really means. Challenges are simply chances for growth and innovation disguised as difficulties, requiring effort and ingenuity to uncover their hidden potential. 29. The mere formulation of a problem is far more essential than its solution, which may be merely a matter of mathematical or experimental skills. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advances in science. This quote reminds us that clearly defining a problem is crucial. The solution itself is often a technical task. Real scientific progress comes from creatively reframing old issues and asking innovative questions. 30. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. This quote reminds us that, to overcome existing challenges, a fundamental shift in perspective and a more advanced level of thought are required, as the mindset that caused the problems cannot also fix them. 31. Never bring the problem-solving stage into the decision-making stage. Otherwise, you surrender yourself to the problem rather than the solution. Here's what that really means. Distinguish between understanding a problem and making a choice. Don't let the complexities of problem-solving overwhelm or paralyze the process of making a clear decision towards a solution. 32. Life is a crisis, so what? This quote reminds us that life is inherently full of challenges and difficulties, so instead of being overwhelmed, simply accept this reality and move forward. Embrace the constant state of change. 33. Make small commitments and keep them. Be a light, not a judge. Be a model, not a critic. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. This quote reminds us that build integrity through consistent small actions. Strive to be a positive influence and a source of solutions, leading by example rather than criticizing or contributing to problems. 34. We need men who can dream of things that never were. Here's what that really means. Society needs visionary individuals who can imagine and pursue radically new and innovative possibilities that transcend current realities. It emphasizes the importance of imaginative thinking for progress. 35. The biggest problem in the world could have been solved when it was small. This quote reminds us that major issues often grow from minor, neglected problems. Addressing challenges early when they are manageable is far more effective than waiting until they become overwhelming. 36. It is a mistake to think you can solve any major problems just with potatoes. Here's what that really means. This is a humorous way of saying that complex or fundamental issues cannot be resolved with simplistic, inadequate, or irrelevant solutions. You need appropriate tools for the job. 37. No problem is so big or so complicated that it can't be run away from. This quote reminds us that this is a cynical or humorous take, suggesting that, for any challenge, there's always the option of avoidance, albeit not necessarily a productive one. 38. I have learned throughout my life as a composer, chiefly through my mistakes and pursuits of false assumptions, not by my exposure to founts of wisdom and knowledge. Here's what that really means. Personal growth and true understanding often come more from actively making errors and correcting misconceptions than from passively receiving established knowledge. Learning by doing, even if it involves failure, is key. 40. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Here's what that really means. Focus your efforts on making meaningful contributions and providing genuine benefit to others rather than solely pursuing personal achievement or recognition. Value creation is paramount. 41. Problems are only opportunities with thorns on them. This quote reminds us that challenges are simply opportunities that appear difficult or painful. Overcoming the initial discomfort can reveal valuable potential. 42. It is wise to direct your anger towards problems, not people. To focus your energies on answers, not excuses. Here's what that really means. Direct your negative emotions towards resolving issues, not blaming individuals. And channel your energy into finding solutions rather than justifying failures. Be constructive, not destructive. 44. Whatever your problem, no matter how difficult, you can release spiritual power sufficient to solve your problem. The secret is, pray and believe. This quote reminds us that, regardless of the difficulty, you can tap into immense inner strength and divine assistance to overcome challenges through faith and prayer. 44. If the only tool you have is a hammer, it's hard to eat spaghetti. This quote reminds us that, relying on a single, limited approach makes it difficult to deal with diverse or nuanced problems. Different situations require a variety of tools and methods. 45. The measure of success is not whether you have a tough problem to deal with, but whether it is the same problem you had last year. Here's what that really means. True progress is indicated by evolving challenges, not by the absence of problems. The sign of success is overcoming old issues and facing new ones. 46. Modern diplomats approach every problem with an open mouth. This quote reminds us that contemporary diplomatic approaches often involve immediate and excessive verbal communication or public statements rather than careful deliberation or quiet negotiation. It implies a lack of subtlety. 47. What man actually needs is not a tensionless state, but rather the striving and struggling for some goal worthy of him. What he needs is not the discharge of tension at any cost, but the call of a potential meaning waiting to be fulfilled by him. This quote reminds us that human fulfillment comes from actively pursuing meaningful goals and engaging in purposeful struggle, not from avoiding all discomfort. Meaningful effort is essential for a rich life. 49. Problems do not go away, they must be worked through, or else they remain forever a barrier to the growth and development of the spirit. This quote reminds us that challenges cannot be avoided. They must be actively confronted and overcome. Unresolved issues will perpetually hinder personal and spiritual growth. 50. Leadership is solving problems. Here's what that really means. The core function of leadership is the ongoing identification, analysis, and resolution of challenges for the benefit of the group or organization. As we conclude this journey through insightful words, remember, every problem holds the key to a new solution, and every challenge is an invitation to grow. Carry these powerful quotes with you and let them be your guide as you navigate the path ahead. Thank you for watching, and may your problem-solving journey be filled with wisdom and success. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Mind Shelf for more inspiration.